How's it going? Welcome to the live stream. Hope you're having a great day. Whew, man, I didn't think I was gonna make it today. It was it was a rough start. Yesterday too, woke up with a big old sinus headache, couldn't move my head, and finally got things going. And yeah, today wasn't as bad. I didn't have the headache like yesterday, but man, I went to stand up and I almost fell over like 3 or 4 times. I had to like hold on to the walls just to go to the bathroom. It's like, man, it's like, and it wasn't like that congestion where your sinuses are all, where, you just need to blow your nose and all that. It's just like sinus pressure and nothing. But yeah, I got some sinus medicine and stuff like that and took some aspirin and ready to go. Whew. Yeah, man. Oh. Hey, what's up, Chip? How you doing? Oh, man. What a weekend. What a weekend. So, yeah, because I had all that sinus pressure, I didn't want to come down and do anything in the shop yesterday, so I took a lazy day off, man. Tell you what, something about taking days off just isn't good for me. That's just like, I don't know. I guess because I'm always playing drums and stuff like that. I've been exercising a lot more, so every day I don't feel it. But you take a day off and it all catches back up to you and excuse me. It catches up to you and man, whew, it's rough. At least yesterday I played drums, so today I didn't really play any drums and man, it's a weird feeling when you don't have any balance. You wake up and sinus problems are one thing, but man, when you can't stand up straight or you're about to fall over, whew, it's a rough feeling. Hey, what's up, Heath? But yeah, so after about an hour or two, I got everything situated. It must be something, my sinuses are affecting my ear, because I hear, ear problems usually can set off balance and stuff, but man, that was scary, trying to walk, trying to stand up and just falling over and having to hold on to the wall to get to the bathroom, man. It's, but at least I didn't have the headache like yesterday, so yeah. It's funny when you have like a sinus infection. Well, I don't think it's an infection, but whatever. It's like, it's better to have the cold part because, you can get all that out of your head when it's just like a sinus, when your sinuses are all stuffed up and nothing's coming out. It's just like, oh, man. Hey, what's up, Stalking Wolf? But, man, whew. It was rough. I was like, man, I don't think I can do the live stream if I can't even, sitting down's fine, but still, I don't want to be all dizzy in here trying to talk and stuff. But thank God it went away. Man, here this bottle is messing up again. Just started out and my bottle's all messed up. Anyway. So, you guys that don't follow me on Instagram or anything like that, she is done. She's actually, man, she actually shaved hair. So, I was surprised at that. I was real surprised. I didn't think I'd ever get her that sharp, but, yeah. And I contacted the kid and I told him, it's done. And I told him he has to be careful because, I always keep it wrapped now because that aluminum. And he's like, well, how do I get rid of scratches and how do I keep it from scratches? I was like, well, there's only two ways. One is to build a stand and always keep it in the stand. And the second is if you do pick it up and carry it, make sure to wrap it in something. Because when you put it down, that aluminum is going to scratch. I don't know why they used aluminum. I mean, I guess it looks cool. It looks cool for the show. But man, aluminum just scratches so easy. Titanium would have been a better choice. Hey, what's up, Bootleg Blades? But, titanium's expensive. But it would make a badass knife, I'll tell you that. Oh, man. Whew. So I was watching Joe Rogan's podcast, and he had this guy on. I didn't get the guy's name, but it was a thing called Workout Smarter. And it basically applies. He was talking about how he works out every day, but he doesn't work out to the max. Where someone that works out to the max, they're always pushing their muscles and their muscles have to recover. Now, hold on with me. I don't talk about working out much, but there's another part of this that really really resonates with almost everything in life. But so, that's what I do. I play drums every day, which I was doing that before I watched this podcast. But he's like, I work out 6 or 7 days a week, where you work out 3 days a week and you need those 4 days to recover. So in a year, I'm working out twice as much, or whatever the factors were, twice as much as you, and I'm not breaking down my muscles, and I'm not over pushing myself, I should say. He's like if you can do 10 pull-ups, only do 7. Don't try to do 11 or 12. And it all made sense. And that's what I do with drums. I've said that like 5 times now. But then he had this other part, which was called the Flowchart. And the Flowchart, man, this goes for everything in life. And it makes so much sense. He's like, you got this Flowchart. You start out at the bottom, and then there's the top, and then there's a middle. Now at the bottom, if you stay at that bottom level, you're going to get bored and stop doing it. And if you go to that top level, it's too hard and you get discouraged and you want to give up. But if you stay right in the middle, where you just experienced enough and you keep getting more and more experience, you keep going, you keep your interest. It doesn't get too hard. You don't get frustrated and lose what you're doing. You don't lose focus because it's so hard. You're not trying things out of your comfort level. I mean, it's good to get out of your comfort level here and there, but when you're trying, it's like trying your first knife and doing a folder and giving up knife making because you don't even know how to grind a knife. Something like that. Or, if you've been doing knives for 10 years and you do the exact same knife, you're going to give it up because you get bored with it. And that's what I've talked about with jigs and stuff. Jigs have their place and they're great. In fact, on that Dexter knife, I set up my tool rest as a jig. I always point over there, like, look over there. You know what I'm talking about? So, but if that's all you do, if all you do is jig grinding, man, I don't know. Some people won't get bored with it and they're happy with that and all that stuff. But to me, it seems like you'd want to push yourself at least into that middle ground where you're progressing. You're always making better stuff and progressing and progressing. So, Chip says he can't stand up to scratches. He can. I mean, but I don't know if the kid knows about aluminum. I mean, it was a pain in the butt for me to get all those scratches out of that aluminum. So, I don't know. A lot of people aren't, you got to remember, a lot of people aren't handy with tools. And, a lot of people buy stuff because they can't make it. Now, he could, if but if he doesn't know what he's doing and he, tries to take out scratches with a too high or too low of a grit, he can make more scratches and then be like, oh man, I messed up my knife. And, so that's why I told him it's better to just keep it always wrapped. Always wrap it or keep it on a stand. Man, because aluminum's a pain. I don't know. I mean, it was for a movie. That's why I was going to say I don't know why they used aluminum, but they did it because it's for a movie. So, but yeah, it was definitely a fun build. I don't think I would do it again, but I'm always up for the challenge. Oh man. So let's see. Let's get in. I don't have many topics again, man. I think I've been running out of topics. Maybe I need to start doing this live stream every other week. Because, man, it's just like, I forget. And then at the end of the week, I try to come up with topics. But it's funny because I was thinking the ego factor. Because a lot of people ask me why I don't forge. Why don't you forge knives? Aren't you into forged knives? And I always come up with silly excuses or goofy excuses like, oh, I swung a hammer for 10 years. I don't want to do it while I'm making knives. And stuff like that, and oh, it'd be too much to build a anvil or buy an anvil and build stuff outside, and I don't have any room in here. But really, it comes down to priorities, and just like cooking knives and stuff like that. Shepherd's Ford, I work with aluminum. It's horrible to clean properly and scratches with a feather. Yeah, I couldn't believe how hard it was to get those scratches out. But anyway, it's like, you know, I don't have the passion for forging. I don't have the passion for cooking knives. And if I was to, now, that doesn't mean I don't want to learn it. I would love to learn forging. And the people that do it, man, I admire greatly, you know, and I love watching people do it. But it's something that I would just like to learn. Like, it's the ego factor. And I thought of this the other day. You know, would I want to learn forging for me? No, I would want to learn forging so I could be like, see, I can forge, you know. See, I can make a kitchen knife and stuff like that. It's the ego factor about it. It's not the passion that makes me want to forge or makes me want to do kitchen knives and stuff. It would be the ego part of me being like, yeah, you have to do it to show people, see, I can do it. Excuse me. And Gary Vee is always talking about stuff, you know, do stuff for yourself. Don't worry about other people's influence on you. You're letting too many people influence how you're thinking. You know, you want to go buy this really nice car when you can't afford the nice car just to make yourself look better to other people. And that's how I feel about like knife making and even drums lately. You know, I've been playing drums every day, you know, and I am getting better. But I'm sitting there, you know, I'm putting my songs up on the TV and trying to play to my songs, which, you know, I've been playing guitar 30 years and bass 30 years. So to try to play drums after playing, you know, I play drums here and there, you know, off and on because all my drummers played here at the house. So a 2-year or even like a 6 months to 1 to 2 year drummer trying to play songs that were written by a 30-year guitarist. I know that sounds conceited, but it makes sense if you know music. It's just not going to sound as good. Now, someone that's listening, it'll sound pretty good too. If you just listen to music and don't know about music, it'll sound good. But to me, it's not good. But the whole reason I'm like, oh man, I got to learn these songs. I got to learn to play it. And that way I can say, I do it all. I play drums, bass, guitar. I do, you know, I write it all. It's the ego factor. You know, just so I can put an Instagram post saying, see, I play the drums to my own songs. So, hey, what's up, Gravender? Oh, man. So, yeah, it makes me realize, and I think a lot of people do this. They get into something that they have a passion for and they really want to do, but instead of focusing on the part that they want to, they try to do all these other things about it. And I know I'm very guilty of that. You know, everyone's always, make kitchen knives, make this knife, make that knife, make this, and you got to start forging, show us how to forge. Well, you know, I would love to take a class and learn to forge just to do it. But I probably would never post it because I don't know how to forge. It'd be fun to sit down with some of these guys that know and just hammer out a knife, you know, and make it look horrible and stuff like that. But I don't think I would, you know, I might get bit by the bug and might get a passion for it and have to go out and buy an ammo and all that stuff. But I don't know. It's like a kitchen knife. I think I'm gonna make one, and yeah, it'll be just like. But see, it's like my heart's not in it. My heart's not in it like it should be. But it's a knife, and you know, so I don't know. It's that really gray area. But whew. I guess in the flowchart it just hits right below advanced. But see, that's the thing. I would look. My main goal when I started out making knife was to do a folder. I've always loved folders, you know, frame locks and stuff like that. And that was like the only reason I wanted. In fact, 2 or 3 months, 6 months after making my first couple knives, I bought titanium so I can make the handles and all that. And yeah, but the level, that's still just out of my comfort zone. And I keep getting all these other projects that I'm interested in. But I gotta tackle it. I'm gonna get there one day. Bootleg Blades. Forging is fun, but a lot of work. Chef knife is something I'm gonna get into for sure. because I love to cook. See, that's another thing. I don't cook. I talked about that last week. Yeah, you know. Nah, I just nah. You know, my old drummer back in the 90s, he was a cook. You know, he taught me a lot of stuff about cooking. He taught me that if you're the cook, everyone else has to clean all the dishes. Man, he would leave the whole kitchen a mess and be like, all right, my work's done. You guys get in there and clean it up. It's like, oh, come on now. Oh, but yeah, he was like a gourmet chef. And, you know, he was very, like, irresponsible, and he was always moving from restaurant to restaurant, which, you know, he was just, he wasn't lazy because he had to work and stuff like that, but he just had a bad work ethic. Now, once he got to work, he, you know, he worked his ass off. He was one of the best chefs, and that's why everyone kept hiring. But, yeah. And it'd always be funny because he would ride the subway. The subway's like a mile from the house, so I'd go pick him up. And he'd always come to play drums. He'd be in his, like, you know, those checkered pants, like you see Chef Boyardee wearing, and the coat and all that. Oh, man, we used to give him a whole bunch of crap about that. Man, that's a nice drummer suit you got there. But he had his idol was like Lars from Metallica, so he made sure he had Lars's kit. I mean, this was what, 90, 93, 94. So, you know, he had the double bass Tama swing star with all the cymbals and everything. It looked just like Lars' kit. But he was a very jealous dude too, because the guy I met in Virginia Beach that came up and moved with me, who was my drummer for like the band I made, he wouldn't let him play his drums because the dude would show, I mean, you know, the drummer from Virginia Beach was like a junkyard drummer, which means you put him behind anything and he'll outplay everybody. But the drummer from the Blind Angel band always grew up on that big set and always, and that kind of goes with the whole knife making, the Flowchart thing. You know, right from the start, he bought the big set. He learned on the big set. Put him on any other set, he can't play as good or keep up as good because that's how he learned. And that's how he stuck with for 20 years. You know, you get someone else that just threw together a drum set with all, man, the dude from Virginia Beach, he would just buy like a piece at a time, and it was just like a scattered drum set. So, man, but you get him on those drums and he would kill it. So, anyway, I'm off on a tangent. That's probably a majority when I use a knife. I love my kitchen knives. Yeah, a lot of people love kitchen knives. I still got that one I never finished from last year. In fact, I think that's what my next video is going to be. I'm going to grab every knife I found that I haven't finished around here and just make a video about not getting discouraged as a knife maker, because it's real easy. And people watch these videos and watch other knife makers on videos, and they see these guys making this awesome stuff, and they're like, man, I can't achieve that, and I can't achieve that. Well, that's why I think I'm going to make this video. It'll probably be a Frankenstein video, because I got to send the Dexter knife out Monday, and so I want to kind of put the intro of that, show it finished and all that stuff. Because a lot of people that watch those videos don't watch the live stream, and vice versa, or don't follow me on Instagram, so might as well put it all out there that I finished. I've been doing a lot of that lately. Man, I used to have a big problem with finishing things. But, after over those Damascus knife and all those Hamones, I think out of 7 knives, I finished like 4 or 5 of them, so. But that's, you know. And then I move on and don't never come back. That's a big problem of mine. You know, I've talked about that before. I always want the exciting parts, the build and all that stuff, and see how it goes. And I never come back and do the detail work. But since the guy for the Dexter knife paid me, you know, a little bit up front and all that stuff, and I figured I'd better finish it and get it out of the way. And it wasn't that hard of a knife, but there were some small challenges that I wasn't expecting, but it was fun. Chip says, I can't swing a hammer long enough to make much progress. If I could use a 16 hammer, I could be okay. Be like, that's why I'm building the forge press soon. Yeah, it would be nice. See, when I started knife making, I had all those dreams. I was like, man, I could just build a little shed out back. I could build a forge out there. I could build a press and buy some, steel or make an anvil or build an anvil and all this stuff. But it was never the full, I need the forge. It was like, okay, I want to, buy a big slab of steel or something and then maybe weld on a piece of hardened steel for the top. Just things which in time would probably cost more than actually buying an anvil. But, in all this time to build stuff outside, because there's no way I could have forge in here. There's no room. But now I just realized it's like, man, I'd only do it because I'd want to do it for like 1 or 2 videos. Like I say, the ego. I'd want to do it to show people, hey, see, I tried it and this and that, and that's how I'm going with it. So, just have all the, really, he just needs a motivation. Winter's coming, a lot of time in the shop. Man, if you're on Instagram, all the people up north are getting snow. Like, Utah and Will Stelter put up a thing on Instagram where it's snowing outside, and Simple Little Life said it was 28 degrees Fahrenheit and snowing out there. It's like, whew, man, it's the end of September and it's already snowing. I don't like cold weather and I don't like snow. No. I'm a warm-blooded person. I need warm weather. Oh man. Oh man. So, man, when I was hooking up the VFD, the VFD I got back, I almost messed it up again. Well, kinda. Luckily I waited for the switch, but when I used the same cord that I used for my horizontal grinder, but when I bought the new reader, I just, kind of switched out the wires and stuff, and I wired the new VFD that I bought from the panel and all that went to the other one. So, but I remember when I had that horizontal grinder, I would touch it and I would feel a little shock, just enough to know something's wrong. And it didn't dawn on me to check the thing because I took it all apart and all that. But I used the same wire. I used the same, the plug-in wire for when I got the VFD back. And something's like, man, open this whole thing up. Make sure all the wires are secure. Make sure everything's going good. Check your work. It's been 3 years. Everything's gotten dusty and all that. But no, I wanted to get everything hooked up. So I hooked up the new switch and all that. Luckily the switch was off. And I flipped on the KMG and I could feel it. I could feel electricity coming through. It wasn't 220 volts and, it wasn't even 110 volts. It was just enough where you could be like, oh, And sure enough, I was like, oh. So I turned everything off and I was like, I better unplug this to see what's wrong. And right when I went to pull, I should have flipped the breaker before I did it, but right when I went to pull the plug out, it must have pulled down, and it went, pow! And it was like, big old light flash. I was like, whoa! And sure enough, I opened it up, and the ground had come loose. It came down and hit the well, it's 220, so it hit the white hot. But man, that gave me a big old jump. Bootleg Blades, he says, I'm at 5,800 feet in the Rockies, but 80 degrees today. Yeah, man. Gravinder, yeah. Montana got the first snowfall today. Yep. Montana and Utah and Canada and all that. But, whew, Man, I should have turned that breaker off first. I can't believe I didn't even think about it. Especially since in the KMG, the weird thing is, the KMG isn't connected to the motor. So I don't know how the electricity was going through everything. And that's how it was on the horizontal grinder. And that's why it must have been so light of a touch, because it was actually going through other things to get over to the frame. By the time it got the frame, the resistance and all the metal and all that dropped it down. Because, I'm sure if I would have touched the motor, it probably would have popped me a good one. But anyway, yeah, man. Something told me when I'm sitting there wiring this, check your wiring, make sure nothing came done in the last 3 years. But, oh, man. Bootleg Blades, his rules, if he gets shocked 3 times and he shuts the breaker off. Yeah, man. I guess, I was going to say it didn't shock me, but I guess hitting the KMG and feeling that a little bit of electricity was getting shocked. But, man, when I pulled that plug out, because, it's a 3-prong plug, so you have to wiggle it back and forth to pull it. And it's like, pow! It's like, oh, man. And my first thought is, oh, man, I just blew my VFD again. But luckily I had the switch on the VFD, so, it couldn't get through. Which I'm kind of, man, imagine if I would have been running the KMG and been like, oh, I'm not going to check it. It must be something else. And all of a sudden something moves and pow! Because, man, it would have popped right through that. And it would have gone right into that VFD. And I'd have sent it back a 3rd time. Oh, man. Whew, that would have been rough. Yeah, sorry, I blew this VFD a 3rd time. But at least the first time they just fixed it, which was under warranty and all that. But when I sent it back, they're like, look, since this has had a problem before, we're just going to replace everything, replace the board and all that. It was like $100. So that experiment of trying to hook up 2 grinders to 1 VFD cost me $100. So, because I would have bought a second VFD anyway. But if that first experiment worked, it would have saved me $300, but instead I messed up and had to spend an extra $100. Oh, man. I think I've hit on all my topics today. I can't think of anything else to talk about. I'm running out of ideas, guys and girl. Been a pretty good week, though. Got a lot accomplished. I got to get back in the swing of editing every day and putting videos up. I think, man, that's one thing I did, because, what was it? It was like 2 weeks ago, I was like, it was the week before I took the week off. I was like a week ahead on videos. I had like 3 videos already saved. And, but I got to find that balance, that flowchart factor, where I'm not going too much and I'm not going too little. Because I had, I was getting to the point where I was a week ahead, and now I haven't even shot anything for next Tuesday's video. But like I say, I think I got a few things, and I got that Bowie knife that I've got to take care of and all that stuff and start. That's the next project to figure out. One thing that's I've realized, everyone always asks me where to get this and where to get that, and where do I buy this stuff and where do I buy my steel and stuff like that. But man, when it comes to like wood and Damascus or Sanmai, I have no idea, because I've been wanting to kind of try some Sanmai. But the only Sanmai I see is the stuff like on eBay, and I just don't trust that enough. I'd love to try some of that Japanese Hitachi water steel or whatever it's called, the 22 layer steel. Simple Little Life did some, and I see it on eBay, but I just don't trust it. Those would be like the 2 things. See, instead of forging, I want to try new steels and stuff like that. And I've got this awesome idea for stainless. Now, if you watch that last heat treating video, I put 2 knives in for normalization into one packet. And I was talking about this about a month ago, trying to do stainless steel, like 2 knives in one packet. Now, for me, I don't do a whole bunch of knives, so it wouldn't really be any benefit except to see if the experiment worked. But right when I said that to someone, I was like, man, I'm going to try to put 2 stainless steel knives together in a packet and heat treat them. Everyone's like, no, you can't do that. The heat won't transfer through. Oh, when you go to cool it down and stuff like that, it won't cool properly and this and that. But now think about it. Let me see. I got this knife. Now, in theory, in my mind, like take this knife, without the handles. When you put it in the packet, if it's got a bevel on it, that's not touching anything anyway. So, yes, if you put them together like this and put them in a packet and heat it up to 1950 degrees, even if back here doesn't fully all the way through get up to 1950 and get heat treated, these bevels that aren't touching, let me see if I can find another knife. These bevels that aren't going to be touching, are going to heat all the way through no matter what you do. If that makes sense. Is that only a weird logic in my head? And then people are like, well, you're not going to be able to quench it because the plates aren't going to be able to hit the middle of the steel. Well, on a blade like this, the plates don't hit the middle of the steel. The plates only hit here and cool everything else down, and then you hit it with air. So, I'm wondering about that. Now, it might fail, and I might be wrong. But why not try it? Just to say you do it. But like Blades just bought the stainless to make some sandmine, and I got a bunch of 1520 for Damascus. Oh, yeah, paper steel, that's what it's called. Thanks, Heath. Yeah, those two. Man, I've always wanted to try sandmine. In fact, before Lars hit me up about doing Damascus, this other guy's like, I'll send you some sandmine. And when Lars hit me up, he's like, do you want sandmine or Damascus? And I told him Damascus, because this other guy, but the other guy never came through and stuff like that. But I had fun with the Damascus. But sandmine would be like, I've always liked sandmine better than Damascus. But I think sandmine would be more of a challenge, a little bit harder to work. So I think I needed to start with Damascus just to see what it was all about, because sandmine, you have to get it perfectly centered and all that stuff, and but it would be interesting to see or try. I've always, let me say it 4 more times. And that paper, those Japanese steels, man, they are sweet. But I don't know anything about heat treating them. And that's the thing, if you buy something on eBay, they're not going to have instructions on how to heat treat it and do this and do that with it and all that stuff. So it would be nice to find a good supplier of that stuff. So, yeah. Let's see. Anything else I can come up with off the top of my head? Anything you guys want to talk about? You can always reheat if it doesn't work the first time on the 2 knives. Yeah, see, that's what I figure too. And the funny thing about me is when someone says you can't do it, it makes me want to do it even more. But the funny, man, it's just like, the one thing I guess I always try to teach on my channel isn't necessarily the knife making as much as, try new things. Try to figure out, hey, just because someone says it has to be done this way doesn't mean it has to be done that way. That means they do it that way, and that means it worked out great for them. You might be able to do everything a different way, and it works out better for you. And that's why I love doing these experiments and stuff, to show people, hey, man, get out of that box thinking. Say, hey, can I do something like this? Can I take it to a different place or stuff like that? And, which is funny because even with that forging stuff and all that, me and my backwards thinking, I want to learn everything else, then maybe I'll learn forging. It's like, once I get everything else under my hat, the priority of forging might come up in the list. So, I want to do a dagger. I want to do this pummel. I've done a couple, I did that integral with Firekeeper Forge, Sam from Firekeeper Forge, because that was kind of a Bowie. But now I want to try a hidden tang, because I did that hidden tang kitchen knife, so I want to try one, but I want to make my own pummel. In fact, I ordered some 1-inch brass. I'm going to try to go Kyle Royer style on this thing. I ain't going to get that intricate, but I want to try. I keep telling him on his videos, it's like, man, I've been watching these videos over and over because I'm going to try it. In fact, on Instagram, when he's ask me some questions, I was like, which is easier, to tap the tang or to weld on a screw, for the pummel? Because, yeah. In fact, that's where I got this thing about I don't know where to find woods and stuff, because I just got on Facebook. And, honestly, I'm a very simple person when it comes to stuff I buy and stuff. And so I got on Facebook, and I was on one of the groups, and I was like, where do you get your stabilized woods from? And all these guys kept sending me all these links. I'd go to the links and they wouldn't work. And I'd go here and nothing would work. And people would give me all these recommendations. I'd go check these people out and nothing would come up. Finally, one dude contacted me. He's like, here, I got these 4 pieces of wood. What do you think? I was like, I'll take that one. It's like, it was like some stabilized ash or something. And you would think, since I was a carpenter for over a decade, that I would know woods, but we built houses, Now, we did do some carpentry and some stuff like that, and cherry and, cherry libraries and stuff like that, but that was way back in the 90s. After that, mainly we just slapped up some houses and put in the cabinets and finished the trim and slapped it all up. So, exotic woods I don't know much about, but, whew. Ravinder says he always got nice handle and guard pummel. I can't read. Sorry, my dyslexia is kicking in. How do I soften some spring steel? Yeah, like Bootleg Blade said, you anneal it. What type? What kind? What? I can't even talk. What type of tool steel? Do you know what type of tool? Is it like a leaf spring, or is it tool steel that you bought? Because from what I understand, now I've never bought leaf springs, but leaf springs aren't 5160 anymore. A lot of times they're just I don't even know. They're like mystery steel. But if it's 5160, then yeah, you can anneal it like anything else. The best thing to do is when you get a steel, if you know what it is go right to Google, put that steel in, and put it in the data sheet. Now, a lot of these guys like Alpha Knife Supply and Jant and stuff, when they sell their steels, they'll have the data sheet. I know Alpha Knife Supply is awesome for that. And they'll tell you exactly how to heat it. USA Knife Maker does the same thing. You go on the USA Knife Maker's site, and you go under heat treat, and he'll have a list of different steels and how to heat treat them, how he gets his best recipes. So, Bootleg's Blade says, yeah, 5160 probably, but me and Bootleg Blade must be on the same wavelength today. Or maybe I just gotta read the comments some more. But yeah, and 5160 is actually, because I got a piece of it here, and I did that one blade in it, that one big old knife last year, a year and a half ago. 5160, man, it's a beast. That stuff is, even annealed, it's harder than most steels that are hardened. Well, in my opinion. And it takes a long, well, now Chip, if you get some leaf spring, now I'll give you a reason to hook up your oven and do it, because you got to bring it down real slowly. And then what I did, I forget I think you bring it down from 1500 to 1300 over an hour or something like that. Don't quote me on that. Look up the data sheet. But then I put it in a big old thing of vermiculite once I got down to 1300. And it was just soft enough where I could drill it. And I bought it from a guy. And I bought it from, I think, Jance or something like that, or maybe Alpha. But man, whew. Before I did that annealing, I tried to drill through it, and drills would just skate off it. Wouldn't even touch it. So he says I stick with the 10 series steels. It's a great beginner steel and it's forgiving. Yeah. Hell, I still love 1095. You know, 52-100 is probably my favorite steel. But since I can't do hormones and all that, I love 1095. So, you know, 80 CRV. See, I think 80 CRV and 52-100 are, to me, are basically the same thing. Because they both have that chromium in them, and they both can't put anti-scale on them, and they both come out about the same. So, hey, we made it to 40 minutes. Oh, man. Blaze says, put in a forge, heat to critical, and then shut forge off and leave cool overnight. Right on. Right on. Yeah. See, I've seen people do it with the vermiculite. You know, they take it out and they put it in the vermiculite to cool even slower. So, but I guess with the forge cooling off, yeah, that makes sense. I don't have a forge, so. Anyway, yeah, man. I mean, you know, I've annealed other steels or stuff like that, but man, 5160, it's just a beast, man, and it holds an edge. You know, like AEBL stainless and stuff like that, and CPM 3, not 3V. I still got that one knife with CPM 3V when my oven got messed up. It's still sitting in the foil packet and everything. I just haven't put it back in and reheat treat it. But yeah, ABL, I'd say 5160 is tougher than that to me, from what I've noticed. Especially sharpening. Man, I think that knife, because I made it for a friend and he still hasn't picked it up over a year later. But I sat there for hours sharpening it. And every once in a while I'll go back and I'll try it, and it's still not razor sharp. I mean, it's sharp enough to cut, but it's nowhere near razor sharp. Now my nose is dripping. First it was all clogged, I couldn't stand up this morning. Now it's all dripping. Yeah, Bootleg Blade says, yeah, he's and Bootleg Blades vermiculite. You go to Home Depot and you buy a big old bag of vermiculite. I still got a whole bunch of it, and it's sitting in the bucket too. I haven't used it since 5160. But it came in handy for that. So, oh, 3V is tough to sharpen. Yeah, 3V is supposed to be like one of the toughest. If you ever watch old Go custom knives, Aaron Go, Gough, man, he did a whole bunch of tests on like every steel. You know, he'd break all these knives and did all this tests, and 3V came out the strongest. And you have to heat treat it just like stainless. But man, that was when I did that collab with Do-It-Yourself Easy Crafts or whatever. And I heat treated his stainless for him. And that oven conked out, and oh, no, that's what it was. I actually heated the 3V, and it came out to like a 65, and then I put it in a temper, and since I have steps on my oven, I forgot that because 3V you have to temper at like 1,000 degrees. It's not like a 400 degree temper. It's like 1,000 degree temper. So step 1 and step 2 were like 1,000 degrees, but they were only set to like an hour or an hour and a half or something. But step 3 was 1,500 or 1,600. And, yeah, I forgot about it. I came down and here it was climbing way up. And I was like, oh! I went and I checked it. I ruined the temper on it, so I haven't done it since. Bootleg Blade says he puts the rest in his garden. Well, I don't have a garden. I don't cook. Why do I need a garden? I drink all my vegetables in water. No, wait. It's that, there's veggie drinks. There's naked drinks. And I just put the raw stuff in there. That's my vegetables for the day. Oh, man. Yeah, we made it. 340. I got to start looking up topics and remembering topics like tomorrow. Because, man, I always get to, like, I don't know why I do that to myself. I do it for everything. The Dexter knife, you know, all those knives. It's like, man, I put it off just long enough where I'll be scrambling. So I put myself under pressure, you know. I guess I'm better under pressure. It's the way to keep it exciting. Chip says he uses to make my garden soil with peat and manure. Oh, so you got vermiculite sitting around. Right on. Everyone in their gardens. Yeah, man. There's only one thing I'd like to... You know, Bootleg Blades, you said a couple weeks ago about how you grow that and stuff. But, you know, a long time ago, probably 2004, 2005, I used to do that. But it was like in my room. But it would only be like 1 or 2 plants. You know, you got to find the females and all that stuff. And I didn't even smoke it that much. But man, growing it's a fun thing to do. Watching them all, man, it's fun. So yeah, I've done that a little bit. And then you have all these people, oh man, grow me some, grow me some. So yeah, it's a fun thing to do. And and you know, it kind of goes back to that whole thing, because I was like, oh man, I'm gonna buy some hydroponics and I'm gonna make it down in the base. You know, this is before the shop and all this stuff. So man, I can have a big old grow room and all that stuff. And but yeah, it's like the dreams and reality are far apart on that one. I just built a little box, which actually now I turned into my TV stand and, you know, my computer stand in my room and stuff. But yeah. So I'd have, it was like split into 2. And one would be like the new stuff. And then, you know, the second part would be the stuff growing up. And then you get the clones and you clone and you clip them. And, you know, because once you find that female, you're good to go. No more trying to find females after you find the one. Oh, man. All right. I think I'm going to call it there. I got shirts on my website. I got knives still on my website. Amazon links are in the description. Here comes the shilling. So yeah, shirts, knives, all that stuff. My website link will be up here in the cards and the first link on the description. It was a fun thing. Man, it's almost getting to the point where I'm only going to find 5 or 6 topics to see how much I can BS my way through the rest of it. That's how like the last 2 or 3 have been. It's like, all right, I got about 30 minutes of content. Let's see if we can push it to 40 or 50 minutes. All right, see you guys. Yeah, let's have a great weekend, a great week and all that. Hopefully come back next Sunday and get it taken care of again and all that stuff. So, yeah, hope y'all have a great day. And as always, take it easy.